In this video, I'm going to run you through how to process a remittance advice for a batch payment in Remittance Go, where the invoice numbers that are listed on the PDF that you have are incorrect and do not match an invoice number that we have in Xero. So sometimes you'll receive a remittance advice from a third party where the invoice numbers have been formatted on the remittance advice incorrectly. So for example, your invoice numbering in Xero might have the prefix INV dash and then have an invoice series of numbers after that. So the actual invoice number is INV dash series of numbers, but on the remittance advice, the payer may have only included the numbers themselves. They may have missed the dash. They may have added a forward slash instead, or the actual prefix INV might be slightly different. And this causes an issue when we're trying to match that invoice number across to the invoices that you have listed in Xero. So I give you an example here. I'll drag and drop one that I've got an example where there's 4 invoices that are listed and all of the invoice numbers are incorrect for different reasons. And I'll click through the review area now to show you what will happen. So as you can see, all 4 of these invoice numbers are incorrect. And we're showing an error message here, basically saying that we're going to attempt to reformat these invoices and find in Xero what the correct invoice number should have been. And as you can see, the bottom 3 invoices here have been found and they've been updated. So you can see here that the formats on all of these invoice numbers listed in the PDF are different to the actual invoice numbers that we have listed in Xero. And a magic repair button has gone to work and it has been able to repair those, researching Xero and finding the correct invoice numbers to apply payment against. Now, this first invoice here is a different example. In this example, we can't find ORC 2003 because that invoice number doesn't exist in our Xero file. This is just an actual typo coming from the payer on the remittance advice. So the invoice number itself that they were looking to pay based on when I've looked through was ORC 1003. So what I can do is I can click on this update button here and edit the invoice number that we're trying to find in Xero. And that will then research and reapply that payment against the correct invoice number that we need to be searching for. From there, we can simply hit next and create batch payment as normal. Once we come over to Xero, we can reconcile the payment that we've just created by going to the bank feed, clicking on the Reconcile Items button to take us through to the bank feed screen. And when we scroll down, we'll be able to find the payment that we've just created and click OK to match that against the bank statement line. And that is how you process a remittance advice where the invoice numbers are listed incorrectly on the remittance.